Okay, before we talk about Hollywood, let's talk about taxis. Let's talk about the taxi system and its disruption. You see, before 2009, the taxi model was already dead. Inefficient, unsupportive, corrupt. From the way they charged to who could get a taxi, who could become a taxi, and even start a taxi business. Everything was off. If there was something better to come along, whether people knew it or not, people would unequivocally change what they were using. The problem was, there was no replacement models for taxis. There was no easy way to replace the taxi system. How do you do that? There was no solution that would have been different enough for consumers to start leaving the taxi model in droves. That is, until Uber came along. Once Uber came along and introduced this completely new system that had never been done before, a system where anyone could literally become a taxi, or anyone regardless of who they were could get a taxi. When Uber introduced that system, there was no going back. It doesn't matter how much pushback they get from taxi establishments, state bureaucracies, governments, or anyone else who wants to turn the tide. The movement is irreversible because it's a real solution to a real problem for the people. The people want this in their hearts, and it took a simple application for them to see that. Now, let's talk about the cable and Hollywood system. In the same exact way, the cable and Hollywood system is already dead. It's even deader than the taxi system was in 2009. Everyone hates cable. Even cable hates cable. There's not one American you can ask that doesn't want to see a replacement to their cable experience. The problem here, though, and what's been holding back Hollywood's complete disruption, is the lack of focus on solving the actual pain point for consumers. That serious pain point with Hollywood's distribution model is pricing, how content can be priced and delivered to consumers. You see, what I'm saying here is most people don't realize what they really want to see a replacement to is the payment aspect of content creators and providers. It's the way the content can be priced and served up to consumers from only what they love. So it's not just a la carte, and it's not the way content can be funded or made or personalized or unbundled. No, it's the very last mile, the way content or service can be priced and paid for when delivered. And notice, that's the problem no one is addressing in an adequate way. How do you really address that? It's money. Pricing deals with the ins and outs of money.
The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he didn't exist.
And when we're talking about money, everyone will have a different reason for why they will price the way that they do. Money is a big deal.
Happy Hunger Games.
But regardless, we as consumers know the hard truth of our current pricing system. Everything can't be free.
Run, Forrest, run!
Everything can't cost the same price.
What happened? Oh, we had some problems,
And most certainly, you cannot expect consumers to keep buying everything you have just to get the little itty bit that they really want.
With one purpose only.
Those pricing models, like the old taxi system, are inefficient, unsupportive, and most certainly corrupt. So the only thing we're all really waiting for is a new type of system that's going to completely revolutionize how anyone and everyone can price. What's going to change the cable and Hollywood industry in the same way that Uber changed the taxi industry is when anyone and everyone can now essentially make money on their content by pricing it correctly, or pricing it in a way where consumers will be demanding it in droves. When we revolutionize that, the money aspect, there is no going back.